morning, and as promised I'm going to do my next lot of Date with Dive interviews, as October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I've got with me the beautiful Abby. What a woman she is, and we're going to talk about her breast cancer journey in a positive light. The biggest thing is, or the lessons that we want to take away from here, is to listen to Abby's story and how real and raw it is, but the biggest takeaways are offering hope to others and all of the lessons that she's taken from it. So, welcome.
Thank you very much.
For the first one, let's jump in. Tell me all about you. And I know lots of people will know you, but tell us a little bit about you.
So my name's Abby, like you've said. I've got two wonderful children who are 9 and 14. My son's 9, Bodhi, and Meadow, who's 14, my daughter. I'm married to Math. We've been together since we were like 18, 19.
Love
so yeah, childhood sweethearts. I love the outdoors, I love walking, running. I've got 2 dogs that keep me busy, full-time job, so it's all full on. Yeah, typical working mum, whirlwind. Yeah,
what a woman you are, literally. So I've written some questions down and I'm going to go through them. I want you to share as much or as little as you feel comfortable with. And so we're here today to raise awareness of your breast cancer journey, and so share with us your experience, as much or as little detail as you wish.
Yeah.
Just share with us, jump straight in, let's go with it.
Of course, yeah. So I was diagnosed back in 2017, so I think that's probably a good place to start.
Yeah.
We're now in 2025, I'm still here, I'm thriving, so that's the message I want to get across today, is there is people out there that are just starting out on that journey. They're scared, because you do get scared, you don't know what the future holds, and I feel like I am one of the lucky ones, but also it's proof that people can get through this, and we can carry on and thrive. So yeah, it's it is tough. It was, as I say, it was 2017, so I just had my second born child, Bodhi, so he was 11 months old at the time when I was diagnosed, so you're kind of looking forward to just being a mum again.
Yeah. That's
your priority at the time. Yeah, you don't really think about anything. You wouldn't think about anything like that. You know, you're loving life, you've got your perfect little family, and then you find this lump. I think back now, and I did have more symptoms before I found the lump, which I will cover. And it was literally, I was in the shower one day, as you would day to day, and I just, as normal, washing, and I could just feel this little, when I say lump, it wasn't like how you'd expect a lump. Like I always thought with breast cancer you'd like find like a little marble type bump or something like that, but it was more like a lumpy thickening type thing. I knew it wasn't normal, you know. I didn't really check my breasts often. I've got no history of breast cancer in the family or anything like that. Yeah, so it was, you know, you should, everybody should from a young age get to know, you know, their normal. I kind of knew straight away. I thought, that's not right. So I didn't mess around. Next day I was on the phone to the doctor. I told Math at the time as well, because I think I knew deep down that it wasn't good. I was hoping that maybe with having a baby it was like a blocked milk or something like that. That's it, yeah. You know, pregnancy and having babies, it changes your boobs, doesn't it, quite significantly. So there was that little bit of hope that I thought, well, it's just something to do with having the baby. Went to the GP, and I can't thank my GP enough, because this was just before Christmas as well. She was like, don't worry, but we'll get you straight in. And it was literally a few days, and I was booked in for the mammogram. I did have to get through Christmas while I was waiting on results and things like that, so you just put kind of a brave face on and try and push it to the back of your mind, spend that time with your family. And then it was just after Christmas I ended up getting a phone call to go back for a biopsy, because they had found something on the mammogram. Went for the biopsy, and I think I knew then by the reaction of the the person that was taking the biopsy that it was
Gut
something
instinct
bad.
stands
Yeah,
out, doesn't it?
definitely. I think that was there from the start.
Okay.
And then, it was just like a whirlwind after that. Biopsy was done literally within a week. I got called back in, where they sat me down and told me that it was breast cancer. And I was calm. I was like, I felt, it was a weird feeling. Yeah, it did feel real, but it also felt different to how you think you're going to react. Because I was just, Math was with me, he was there the whole time through the biopsy and everything, and there was like a calmness. I think because it'd been lingering, isn't it?
A little bit prepared, maybe?
Yeah, I think I'd kind of come round to the fact that there was a good chance it was.
Okay.
And I think because I knew then, it was like, right, I've just got to deal with this now.
Had you been researching the Google?
And I wouldn't recommend that at all.
Okay.
Because it's not good for anybody, is it? Because we're all different. They actually told me that it was triple negative breast cancer. To me, I was like, well, what's that?
Yeah.
To me, there was breast cancer and that's it. You know,
or not.
Yeah, that's it. You've got one type. So basically, the triple negative means it's not hormone receptive, so it's quite a rare and aggressive type of breast cancer.
Okay.
That was something, again, you don't want to Google, because I went home, I was Googling, doing a bit of research, and that made me plummet. It was, the odds weren't great. I had to snap out of that quickly, because I thought, I can't just, I've got to face this now. I always remember telling my parents it was horrendous, but my dad saying to me, look, this has happened, there's nothing you can do to turn back time and it not happen. You can't change anything. And I think them words kind of gave me a bit of a kick up the bum. It was like, right, I can't change anything. All I've got to do is trust that the doctors and the really clever people are gonna make me better.
There's a balance, isn't there? Because you need enough information to keep your head calm. This is there, that's next, that's next. So I think that's down to the doctors and the nurses to give you enough to make you feel certain of the path that you're taking, but not too much where it can worry you, not too little where you go away and start researching, isn't it?
They were good. I think it's so accessible now, isn't it, getting information from the internet, that if I hadn't Googled that first couple of days, I probably would have been a lot more positive. And then I knew then, right, I've got to stop, I've just got to listen to what they're saying, because the breast cancer care team were amazing, and they told me the truths. They sent me away with some information to read through. I knew they were there if I had any questions, day or night you could call them. So I think I just had to trust that what they were saying. They told me, look, we've caught it early, which I'm so grateful for, that I went to the doctor straight after that. Yeah.
That's actually a big lesson, because sometimes we can think, I'll leave it for a minute, I'm sure it'll go, it'll be fine.
Well, that's it, going back to when I said about the symptoms, there was a couple of weeks before I found the lump, I was just getting ready to go to a gig, and I'd noticed that I put my bra on, and this boob, it just looked different. I put my bra on and it didn't fill the cup as well as the other one, and that sounds a bit odd, but, and again, because I've just had a baby, I thought, well, it's just changing the shape or what have you. And also I noticed that it was quite red and itchy just now and then. Again, blamed it on hormones from having a baby, this kind of thing. So when I think back, I would have gone to the doctors as soon as anything like that was noticed. But luckily, it was probably a couple of weeks later that I'd found the lump, and then I didn't hang about. And I am the type of person that will just go, oh, it'll be fine. But something was telling me, no, I need to get this sorted.
So strong.
That's
something we've got to keep aware of.
Yeah, definitely. Just go with, what you think.
Yeah.
I think I was lucky again that I had a doctor that listened to me. I was only 35 at the time, just turned 35, so she could have quite easily said, oh, it's probably a cyst, and not rushed anything through, but she didn't, and I'm always thankful to her, and with it being a rare and aggressive type, it was classed as grade 3, but it was still stage 1, because after all the tests we'd found and the surgery that it hadn't spread, but it's that aggressive. It could have literally been days or weeks later, and it could have started to spread. Yeah. So I do feel so lucky for that.
The right people were where you needed.
Have
you kept in touch with anybody?
I am in touch with a few people that I actually met. I met one lady there in the hospital when we were going through our radiotherapy, actually, so it was after all the chemo. And I met her through a Facebook group for triple negative. It's triple negative warriors. So at that time when I was first diagnosed, I stopped the googling, but I thought I'm just going to see if there's any support groups out there. Yeah. So I joined this group, and I honestly don't think I could have got through half of it without just the ladies in that group, because we all had the same type of cancer. We bounced off each other. You know, it was
at different stages perhaps of the journey.
That's it. There was people just starting out, which I was. People towards the end. There was people in that group who'd had triple negative breast cancer 10 years ago, and that was something that I always thrived on.
Isn't it?
Yeah, you know, somebody that had been through it and they were still here today, like, and helping people like us as well. Because I've made the decision once, you know, I'd kind of come out of the treatment. I'm still in the group, but not actively. So, for me, for my own sanity, I had to come away just to concentrate on me getting back to normal.
Yeah.
But I know there's some lovely women on there that are still on there. They're encouraging people to get through it. There's people we lost on that group, you know, and that gets to you as well. But yeah, without little things like that, like my husband, he was there every appointment, every chemo. But you don't like putting on your loved ones so much, you know, when you get them really dark thoughts. You don't want to be saying that to your husband who's like carrying you through it. It's you want to kind of offload that somewhere else, don't you? So,
and that's But then, as you've said, sometimes you don't want to be only thinking about that. So stepping away is at the time it works for you.
It
allows you to.
It's definitely better for me. Yeah. Just to get away from, because there was some really sad stories on that group, and I thought I can't stay there now. I've got to just take a step back.
As you've said, each will have their own reasons for being there. Some will find it more useful helping others. Others will find it easier to step back and send love to everybody else.
That's it. You've got to look after yourself when you've been through something like that. At first I was like, I should be on there helping other people, but my priority was to get myself, my mind healthy, to carry on being a mum.
Of what you need, isn't it?
That's it.
Well, you've mentioned math a few times, so tell us, how did that impact your family?
Oh, it was huge.
Positives and negatives.
Yeah, it was huge. Like, they say there's a reason, isn't there, that you end up with people, and I think if I hadn't have had math, I wouldn't have got through it, honestly. I wouldn't have. He had to be mum, he had to be dad, you know, he was working full time.
I know he wouldn't have that any other way.
He wouldn't,
so there's not 1 inch of him that will say, and he just goes,
it was never a burden, it was never, it was just something that he got on with, I don't know anyone like him, honestly. Like, I think if it was the other way round,
you would have done the same.
I'd like to think that I would, and I think something would take over. But you know, watching your wife go through, I mean, there were some really dark times, and he was there 100%. But as he was there for me 100%, he still had to bring up the kids, because half the time I couldn't do that. I just couldn't get out of bed. You know, he was amazing. Yeah, we were dead lucky that he had support from his work. I was supported in mine.
You know what, it's incredible, isn't it?
It's a huge thing. Like, you don't want to think about finances when you've just been told that you've got cancer, but
you can't think of it, but you have to.
You have to. So, you know, there was potentially one less wage coming in. I was really lucky that work, you know, supported me throughout the whole journey. So that was one less thing to worry about. I had a really good manager, and I'm always grateful to him as well. And maths work, every chemo appointment, every check-up, they let him take that time off to take me and support me through
to have managers that acknowledge and empathise, that
that this is life, that
Yeah.
actually any of us unfortunately could be hit with that,
Yeah.
and to share those times and to make that a tiny bit easier, that's all it is.
Yeah,
it's only a
it's-
tiny bit easier, but it's a stress you didn't have to
Yeah,
have. And
it's a
so,
gesture, isn't it,
yeah.
that goes a long way, and something that, you know, you're forever grateful for, because
yeah,
you've got enough to do and
Yeah,
deal with, kind
literally.
of thing. Yeah.
yeah,
There was little things with the family, like Bodhi had just started nursery, and I was like, oh, do we still take him? We did still take him. That's when my mum kind of helped us out a lot. She'd take him to nursery, she'd pick him up for us. He'd come back with these lovely little like bits of artwork that the girls at nursery had done with him for me, you know, and I've still got them, and it's so precious. And again, the nursery, the owner of the nursery, she'd done so much for me. They were really supportive as a group of, you know, women that I didn't know that well. I knew them through taking Bodhi to nursery, but they were just amazing.
that part of your life they just made easier.
Yeah, little things like that, little things, you know. And Meadow, she was 5. It was like, when I could do the school run, I'd do everything I could to do that school run, but then I'd be there with a headscarf on or a wig, and I'd be worrying about Meadow and her friends, like, are her friends asking questions? Is Meadow going to be embarrassed that her mum's
you wouldn't
bald?
think of. Okay.
Yeah, and again, overthinking, nothing, it didn't affect Meadow at all. You know, a friend, you think with kids sometimes I'd stop and stare, but it was
You know what? I think sometimes we don't give the credit due. Sometimes I know through negative experiences I've had, I wish people were more open with speaking, and I think sometimes obviously it helps and it doesn't, but sometimes they say, as they say out the mouth of babes, they ask you questions directly, and sometimes that makes it easier, but rather than as adults what I experienced, because people didn't know what to say, they'd cross the road and go, which actually hurt me at the time. I know there were days where I didn't want to dig up everything, but on the other side, kids will just ask,
they'll ask,
what's up with your hair?
and that's it, like, where's your hair gone?
Yeah.
And then, but you can tell, and I think that's important, even from that young age, that we're all different, we're all going through different things, aren't we? So, you know, trying to explain to a 5-year-old, I mean, Bodhi was too young, but the hospital gave me a book, gave us a book to read to Meadow about, it was called Mummy's Lump. It was such a good book, and although she was only 5, I think it helped.
It was enough.
Yeah, it was enough for her to think, well, yeah, it must be quite normal, because there's a book written about that. So, you know, it
as I said
happens.
before, she needs enough information to allow her to know what's going on, and she doesn't need to know the rest.
Exactly.
I think it's just enough to keep her okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
That's it. And having that support network around you, like Math taking them out for the day, my mum chipping in, you know, my mother-in-law just distracting when they needed to be distracted, because
and you needed time.
Yeah, that's it. I tried to crack on the best I could, but then a few days after you've just had the chemo session, it is tough, and you're doing everything you can to get out of bed, but you can't. And
you need to rest.
You've got to rest. You've got to, and you do get the mum guilt, even though you're like you can't do anything about it. It's out of your hands, but you still get that guilt. And I had that guilt for quite a long time after going. I felt like I'd missed out really a year on them being babies. But then when I look back, I'm like, actually, I gave it a good blinking go when I thought, when I had the energy. You know, I still took them to the noisy arcades and in my hot rig, and it was, you know, everybody's different, everybody will deal with it different, but I think you've just got to do what's right for you. You're the priority to get yourself better, so that you...
And actually, if you do as you're told and rest and recover, allow yourself to recover, that happens quicker. If you do try and power through too much, you end up flawed for a little bit longer.
Yeah, you go back 2 steps then, aren't you? Yeah, that's it.
Well, that leads nicely to my next question I've written for you. What allowed you to stay strong? You've said there has been points that absolutely knocked you, but what allowed you to plough through it as strong as what you did?
It's going to sound cliche probably, but honestly, it's just the family and the kids. It was like, there was days that I did want to give up, and this is where it gets a bit dark, I guess, but I remember it was a summer's day, It was a weekend, Matt was getting the kids up, they were going out for the day, they were going down to the beach on the arcades. And then I could hear like all the neighbours laughing and joking outside. They were going out, there was car doors going, people heading out for the day. Yeah. And I was lying in a dark room feeling the worst I've ever felt. It was like the first day where I was
emotionally or physically or both?
Both. Yeah, both. It was the first day I felt like this is cancer. I've got cancer because you know you've got this lump. They took the lump out like that. The cancer's gone as such. It's the treatment that gets you into that dark, horrible, fuzzy place. Yeah. So that probably was one of my worst days where I could have just given up. I was ready to just go, honestly. And even though you've got these two precious babies that need you around,
it's hard.
It's hard, yeah. You can't. It's hard to explain until you've been through it and you've had a day like that. Then nothing else kind of mattered, and I just felt so sad that everybody else. I'm a bit jealous that everybody else was just going about their day. You know, just nipping to Tesco to get stuff for lunch and things like that. Whereas I was practically bedbound. Yeah.
And I think for there, and something that, so obviously I chat to a lot of people all of the time, and I think those moments kick in when we lose hope.
Yeah.
And I think at those moments, and this is what I wanted to do with all of the interviews I'm have booked, it's just adding hope to somebody. So am I correct in saying 1 in 7 of us will look at a breast cancer diagnosis? So if we're looking at 1 in 7, that's either ourselves or somebody we know close are going to face that. And with that in mind, all as I'm hoping here is that somebody will hopefully listen to this, if not now, in the future, have hope because of everything you shared. And that's a big
I hope
thing.
so. That's one of the reasons I wanted to come today. Like I've mentioned before, when I was first diagnosed, I wanted to hear and see them people that had been through it and who were still here all these years later, because
and not just the negatives.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and you do get that, you know, and it's obvious. It doesn't matter, you know. It could be any diagnosis, not just cancer. You think the worst, you do, but there's a lot of us that get through it, and I'd like to think that anybody just starting out on the journey can have that bit of positive.
Allow for that, because that's if we fight against negative emotions and don't allow them, they conjure up anyway. Something it'll just kind of bubble away. But actually know that allow for the lower days, because your body just needs to rest and recover, but allow for yourself to enjoy stuff and maybe look. I think a big thing I know in regards to emotions, when we look for the negative we find them, and so on those lower days it's looking for what you can do and what is good, and the reminder of that, isn't it?
The little things, isn't it? That's it.
What support helped you the most? You said family, and we've mentioned briefly the group. Is there anything, so if there is anybody who's either going through or knows somebody going through, what support could we give to somebody else that's going through?
I think the biggest advice, honestly, is just listen.
Okay.
Yeah, listen to what they've got to say. If they want to talk about it, they will. If they don't, they won't. And just don't, just let them be the lead kind of thing. But if they do talk, listen, offer your help, you know. Don't compare cancer stories, because I think that was one of the worst things with that, and you would never expect it to happen, but it does. You know, I had people say, oh, such and such, I know what you're going through, I know how you're feeling, such and such had cancer, and then they tell me that they've passed away. That does get you right back down, you know, to kind of being in that scared bubble.
How's best to approach it? Because I know, like I said before, I wish, and I could name 100 names who crossed the road when they saw me coming because they didn't want to speak.
I've got an example of that, yeah.
But what do you think is the best? So I know when I hit my lowest, I just needed somebody to say, how's your day?
Yeah.
And that's something that, because actually, for me, it wasn't about the full thing. yesterday was potentially my worst day ever. Tomorrow might be my worst day ever.
Yeah.
Or actually, I don't want to speak about the whole chapter. How are you?
Yeah.
That is such a big question.
Yeah.
But actually, how's today? I'm alright.
Yeah,
I'm alright
exactly.
today.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing. But
how's it going? You know, just don't avoid speaking to someone because of what they're going through. I know a lot of people find it awkward. They don't know what to say. You don't have to ask them about their cancer. You know, just how's the kids? You know, have that conversation. I honestly, it was horrendous. One day I was just walking downtown and I could see that this person that I knew had seen me, and they just made a swift exit. And I felt like at the time, when I think back now, it's stupid, but I was like, oh, they don't want to talk to me because I've got a headscarf on and I don't look the same as what I normally do. You know, I've put weight on from the steroids. They're embarrassed. They're embarrassed to talk to me, and that's genuinely how I felt. And when I think back now, it's ridiculous. They just didn't know what to say, so they kind of pegged it rather than saying anything at all. But it made me feel really bad. So I always think, even
no matter how hard it is.
Yeah, we all put our foot in it, sometimes say the wrong thing, but I always think, say something, say something, honestly, just ask them how the day's going, or talk about the weather,
or actually talk about something different, because we know this is happening. I'm very aware, I don't forget that I have this, but on the other side I just want to be normal for an hour or so.
Yeah, exactly. It's not all about that, is it? You want to kind of try and forget about it.
Life is still happening around it, isn't it?
That's it. Other stuff's happening, and just generally, like family, particularly friends, close friends, they would get me like these little care packages with like moisturiser. A couple of my friends got me like a nice little teacup because they know I like a nice cup of tea with like special tea, some crystals, and honestly, anything like that, it cheered me up.
Pick me up.
Yeah, there was one friend and a mum, they knocked on the door, they knew that I wasn't feeling 100%, and they just left me a little like magazine and a ball of wool because they know I like crochet, and then they messaged me after going, we just left you a little gift outside, and then I went to the door and it was this little, like just a magazine and a ball of wool. It made my day, honestly. It's just
the thought.
Knowing that people are thinking of you, but we also appreciate that you've all got lives and you're getting on with it, so you know, we don't expect you to be like offering to cook a 3-course meal every day for us and stuff like that, but
the smallest gestures
and just the practical things sometimes, which again, like my mother-in-law and my mum and other family members, like picking the kids up when Math had to go to work and just dropping them off, hanging around for a bit just to make sure that tea was on, just that kind of thing. And I honestly just do it rather than like asking, what can I do for you, because we don't like asking for help, most of us do. It's like, I like to think I'm like, oh, this big, you know, strong, independent woman, that's, you know, cancer's not going to get me, I can still carry on as normal, but we can't. It's difficult.
You have to press pause sometimes.
You have to get help, and, you know, anybody that's going through it, ask for help as well, and tell people what you want help with, you know.
Because as you say, and it's just taking small steps, so it's like week by week or day by day, whatever, because actually you might not need that help next week, but today you just accept it and whatever.
That's it, just embrace it while it's there, kind of thing.
How's life changed before and after? Has much changed, or?
You say before about like what got you through, I loved my life before I had cancer, so to me it was, my target was always to get back to what I had, rather than, I know some people when they've been through trauma like that, they feel like they've got to change their lives, they've got to, you know, book a round the world trip, this, that, the other. It's not always realistic. To me, I was probably the healthiest I've ever been, which is also another sign, you know, that it doesn't discriminate. I was training for my first half marathon, that had to come to a halt. So in my head, I was like, right, I'm going to get myself better, and I'm going to run that half marathon.
That's my goal again.
That's my goal. You know, family and spending that time with family apart, that was my personal goal. And I did it in 2018, so 2 years after diagnosis, we went down to Cardiff. I ran my little legs off. And then I cried when I finished.
You were 6 foot before you started
I
that,
was 6 foot, honestly, I cried. Again, probably sounds a bit cheesy, but I crossed that finish line and I just cried my eyes out, because it wasn't just
It meant a whole lot
that
more
I ran a
than
half marathon. Yeah, it was, I'm actually alive and I'm able
that.
to
Shiver.
run. Yeah, and even now, every time I go out for a run,
You feel
it's
it.
hard running, isn't it? But to me, it's like, how lucky am I? Even, you know, if you just go out for a walk with the dogs around a big field, you're like, you just feel lucky.
Gratitude.
Yeah,
is
it's always
something.
been the little things for me, and I feel like now, like 8 years later, that I've got my family back and I've got my life back that I loved so much beforehand. You know, I've started to look after myself again. That does take time, I think, to get back into
A new normal.
yeah,
whatever that
that's it, a new normal. It does change you, changes your outlook on everything really, but in a positive way. Although it's a negative time, you do feel lucky.
Yeah.
Like you're here, even
Very
you
true.
know, just arguing over car parking spot in the supermarket. You know, you don't let that stuff get to you anymore. Have it.
You have it.
space,
I'll walk.
yeah,
I'll go
yeah.
down there.
A few more steps in, yeah.
What advice, if any, would you give in regards to what have you learned in regards to treatment? Do you look after yourself any differently?
So, I've learned that you should definitely, any changes, be familiar, know your normal. Any changes, get in sooner rather than later, because what's the worst that, well, we know the worst that can happen, but if it's nothing, then it's off your mind then, isn't it? It's,
Reassurance.
yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
You're not, I was always one of them that, oh God, I'm going to be wasting people's time, go in, it's probably nothing, but so what? If you've wasted somebody's time, you know, it could be something serious. So I would, my attitude towards things like that's changed.
Yeah.
Anything, you know, if family members, they've got issues and that, just go and get it checked out. Don't dismiss
Find out and
anything.
stuff.
Yeah, know your normal. I was probably the healthiest I've ever been when I was diagnosed, because I'd had 2 kids.
In a good place and everything.
Yeah, I was, I was buggy running, I was going to buggy fit, I was eating healthy. I try and do that now. I still have a treat, I still like a glass of wine now and then.
It's life.
That's it.
Like,
I like, I'll eat the pizza or whatever, because I think, I'm not saying that you shouldn't be healthy. Obviously, the more you look after yourself, the better chances, of anything.
Everything, either less chance of anything happening, but having said that, your
it
body's
can-
prepared and your body feels stronger.
And it still can happen, no matter how fit and healthy you are. So, I've not changed. I've just gone back to how I was, really.
Yeah, and that's the goal.
Yeah, and that was the goal. Yeah, I've not, I did start doing yoga for a bit. Straight after that did help, honestly did, yeah. I've come out of that a bit now because I'm concentrating more on like the running, and running and yoga doesn't always go well together.
I can't do yoga, honest to God. I know there's friends of mine that will literally shout at me, Lisa Strong will be one of them, because I still can't do yoga. My head doesn't stay still. I always think, oh, is the PKIT ready? Is that done? Is this done? Is that?
Yeah.
And I just like movement rather than still.
You've got to be able to switch off, I think, from that, haven't you, to get the full benefits of it, but yeah, I'd like to pick it up again one day.
Pilates on it.
Yeah.
Would you do anything different? Looking back at the journey, would you do anything different?
I would. There's little things I would do different. I think I've done pretty well in how I handled it.
That's said lightly.
Yeah. I've done alright.
Yeah.
When you come towards the end, it might be different now because I'm 8 years on, but when you come towards the end of your journey, your treatment, and you get told, right, the cancer's gone, that's it, kind of, although I'm still under a consultant and I still have a mammogram every year, you are kind of just left, you're left to it, and you're a little bit lost. So at the time, they did offer me counselling and I refused, and when I think back now, I wish I would have done that, because I think that would have maybe got rid of that bit of I'm lost now, I don't know what to do with myself.
Wow.
Yeah, I threw myself back into work, I threw myself back into, going back to the gym, that kind of thing. Building that confidence, even just getting back out to work, it's really hard. Like, you're going back to work, you look different, you've got hardly any hair, you're worried about how your colleagues are going to greet you when you go back. I was lucky, it was hugs galore, I had plants and everything cake waiting for me when I got back. And that, I guess, goes back to, you know, how you're going to react to people when they're going through it. Like, you know, if you've got a colleague that's going through that, you just want to be welcomed back and carried on as normal. There was a bit of a fuss, 5 minutes, and then that was it. I was straight back into work.
Or maybe asking them what they want. Do you want a fuss or do you not?
Because everybody's different, aren't they? You know, some people want to go, just won't want to talk about it. You know, it's one of them.
Let me in the back door, walk in, sit at my desk, and just keep my head down.
Exactly. That's it. It's definitely down to the individual. I've got quite a good sense of humour, so I remember one of the guys going, "What have you done to your hair?" And it was like, I could have really taken that badly, but you know, it made me laugh. It broke the ice, and that was it. We just kind of cracked on with it then.
Put it on your hair today.
Yeah, that's it. But yeah, I think just
normalising.
Just normalising it. Yeah, that's it. I just wanted to get back to normal, but I do wish I would have picked up on that bit of aftercare of just having somebody to speak to, because you want to draw the line under it with your family and friends, because you want to move on and get back to normal, but then it's there. It is always there, especially for the first couple of years or so. It's the first thing you think about when you get up, you know, it's on your mind consistently. So I think that would have helped me a bit. And if I don't want to go through it again, but if I was to, I would have taken the
looking back. If you could throw yourself back, you would do that.
Because you although your family's there, you know, I know I can speak to them about anything and everything, but I didn't want to burden him with that.
Do you know what I was going to say? You said it before. Sometimes you don't want to speak to them because they will have their own worries, but differently, from a different angle. And actually, you don't want to plant anything that also worries them that they haven't thought of. Perhaps, or
that's it. Especially at the end, I think you just want to kind of go, right, we're good now.
Let's move.
But you're not really, you know, and it is quite a lonely place. So I would definitely recommend afterwards, like getting some help.
Accept and help in all areas, literally.
That's it. Yeah, you know, you can be strong and get through it. And you know, people message you, going, "Oh, you're such an inspiration," and you're like, "Thank you, that was really nice." But deep down, you
don't feel it.
No, you're struggling. Yeah. So I think just get that help.
Love that.
You could go for help. You might not think it's for you, but I definitely tried it.
Actually, that's a really good point, because there's different types of help. So I really struggled with counselling because I went, although I do talking therapy, it's a very different approach, because I don't want to just talk about the problem, I want techniques how to do it. So actually there's very different help as well. It's not just talking, and I love that. Tell me, the last question for you, actually I've got two, and I have another one. What do you think this crazy life is all about? Tell me what's most important. So, what's Abby's legacy going to be?
It is a crazy life, isn't it? I think
you're right.
You grow up and you're kind of in a bubble, and then all of a sudden something pops the bubble. I think you've just got to expect the ups and downs, you know, and just kind of deal with it as and when they come, that kind of thing. To me, life is just about enjoying and being there with the people that you love. Don't stress about the little things. I mean, I'm the world's worst, like, overthinker. You know, I'm not saying I've been through all this and now I'm like chill as anything, because there's still stuff you're going to get stressed about. I moan about having a headache now and then, whereas, you know, at the time, people were moaning about having a headache while I was going through what I was going. I get like angry, oh God, you're so lucky that you've just got a headache. So, yeah, just to, like, take each day as it comes. I think
wipe the slate clean each night and start going.
Definitely, that's it. Like, arguments, don't dwell, you know, move on. We're only here once, aren't we? It's like, life's short, and when you've been through trauma like that, and if you've lost people, you've been through cancer treatment and diagnosis, you do really realise how short life is. And you can't dwell on it, you know, you can't be thinking all the time, oh, you know, this might happen, that might happen. So just enjoy the time that you've got.
Use your energy wisely.
And I, to me personally, I use all that energy for my friends and family who I love so much and got me through a lot. So
hats
Yeah.
off to them as
Yeah,
well.
definitely.
Love
Yeah.
Well, if just to finish off, if you could name your story, if there's a film that you could name your story, what would that film
Oh
be called?
gosh, that's a hard one, isn't it? Oh god.
What comes to mind first?
The Little Warrior or something
Yeah,
like that.
amazing.
You know, I'm little, but I'm strong and I'm a fighter. Yeah, something
Absolutely.
along that lines, I think. Yeah, that's a difficult
Well,
one.
I love that, Little Warrior. Absolutely that. Well, I appreciate time very much, and I appreciate you spending some of yours
Oh,
with me.
thank
I
you.
value that greatly.
I've loved
Okay.
having my date with Di